essentially without us in that room is people who know nothing about what we do, trying to regulate how we do what we do.
It would have been a very devastating move if the ARA hadn't intervened in that and corrected that issue.
If we were not part of that conversation, I don't know that anybody would have been advocating for the industry.
So it'd be pretty destructive to the industry?
Extremely destructive.
Devastating.
Automotive recyclers are an incredibly hardworking and resourceful group of people, adapting every day to a constantly changing market and competitive forces. It's a bit of a magic trick to simultaneously recycle and depollute wrecked vehicles safely and provide customers with premium, affordable parts. But they've been perfecting this business for over 100 years. Yet while most folks in the industry spend the majority of their time just trying to keep the lights on, tackling staffing, supply, and quality control issues, all while ensuring a quality product for their customers, there's an existential threat constantly looming just out of sight.
Every year we see legislation that could potentially threaten the ability of the industry to do its business and do what it does best.
There are constantly people trying to close you out of the market. There are constantly new bills popping up to limit or stop you from selling things off your car. All these things which are core items you sell. And if we don't stand up for that, you're out of business.
Far from the well-informed boots on the ground, in the polished hallways of governance, incredibly consequential conversations are happening almost daily. Recently, state bodies and federal regulators had potentially game-changing discussions around the handling and sale of catalytic converters.
The value on catalytic converters had skyrocketed over the past decade, and they became such valuable things that theft was happening. As a result, there were hundreds of bills that wanted to do everything from stopping sale of them altogether to preventing us from recycling, making them just being crushed with the vehicle itself once the life of the vehicle was over. So that not only affects our ability to purchase cars and sell the parts to make a profit off of them, but it also prevents those minerals from coming back into the manufacturing schemes to get reused and put into new cars. So then you have to start mining and creating so much more pollution.
It's highly likely that these conversations would have resulted in new regulations with disastrous outcomes for the automotive recyclers if it hadn't been for the vigilant work of a small but determined team of industry advocates. Founded in 1943 by pioneers in the automotive recycling industry, the ARA has considered its advocacy work its first priority and most important contribution to the industry.
Every day at ARA, what we're doing is we're fighting on behalf of the industry, advocating on behalf of the industry, providing educational materials to outside organizations at the highest level of government, both in the state and the federal levels, and we're making sure that automotive recyclers can put recycled original equipment motor vehicle parts back into the market for vehicle repairs.
They shock the heck out of me. Their professionalism, the knowledge, the time above and beyond what they would have to do as a normal job. They're looking out for our industry. The quality of the team that does all this different work is just staggering. They're very impressive.
So as misinformation swirled around the catalytic converter issue, the ARA's advocacy team stepped in to do what it does best.
We were dealing with a senator's office, and the legislation that was being proposed was based all on very much on this misconception about what catalytic converter thieves do in terms of decanning these things. So we had to actually educate them not just in what do we do, but what are we trying to keep from happening, and it was like we were starting from square one. Usually within a couple of minutes of explaining what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it. It doesn't take a lot to bring people around to our way of thinking because we're the experts.
By harnessing the combined forces of so many individual recyclers nationwide, the ARA's advocacy team is able to serve as both a clearinghouse and spearhead to make sure the recyclers' voices are heard above the noise and can continue providing their indispensable contribution to the public good.
Without ARA being at the forefront of advocating, educating, the industry would not be represented in front of these people, and those people are drafting the rules that may impact the operation of your business.
And catalytic converters are just the tip of the iceberg.
It happens every year. There's hundreds of bills that come out that are trying to restrict your business, and we're one of the sole voices that are looking out for you. We're trying to sell nationally On a state-by-state level, within a year or two, something that happens on one side of the country will affect the other ones. You need some organization to try and look out to keep the playing field level for everybody, and that's what ARA does.
This year we tracked 210 pieces of legislation, and also that's including different regulatory activity as well in 41 different jurisdictions.
Take, for instance, Oregon Senate Bill 256. We wouldn't have been able to buy cars with deployed airbags, which would have been a very devastating move to this industry. I'd say at least 30 to 40% of cars at an auto salvage auction would have deployed airbags. So that would have been a devastating move had ARA not stepped in and took care of that issue.
Surprisingly enough, one of the most important parts of advocating for the industry is often simply education.
In some cases, they don't understand our industry at all, and so we have to sort of remind them that we fill a great segment of the ecology for auto repair.
Not everybody understands every part of our industry. They have this idea that, they take something to the curb and once they drop it off, it just magically becomes something else. There are all of these things that we have to take care of that we simply consider to be part of the activities of recycling a vehicle. But legislators don't necessarily understand that.
We always try to approach any sort of advocacy efforts by first not explaining what's necessarily good for the automotive recycler, but explaining what automotive recyclers do, what the benefits are to the public. If it's good for the public to have a strong automotive recycling industry and a professional automotive recycling industry, that's kind of the basis of how we start engaging with external organizations.
The ARA works constantly to both maintain their standing as the preeminent experts in the field and continues to build relationships with the relevant powers. But the ARA's delegated advocacy is truly powered by its membership's engagement. The more its members engage in the work, the more they can accomplish.
And we've been able to do so successfully, especially through our Hill Day last year, where we had 31 different meetings with legislative staff on issues ranging from vehicle data access to the handling of electric vehicles in a safe manner to trying to help solve catalytic converter theft as well.
Advocacy is the most important thing that we do. All of the other programs don't mean anything if you don't have this advocacy. We had a great certification program several years ago, but nobody outside of our industry knew anything about it. It wasn't until we add the advocacy work where we're putting that in front of regulators, we're putting this in front of legislators and trying to use it as a point of entry, that all of a sudden they started looking at us as having value.
With a caseload growing by the day, the ARA is more committed than ever to its work of both protecting and prospering the industry for both its members and the public good.
We're making sure that our members have a say in each and every one of those conversations on a daily basis. You're trying to make your business as good as it can be every day for your customers. And at ARA, what we're trying to do at the highest level of government is give you the ability to continue to do that.
Whether you're doing the work or you're supporting the association, because the outcomes matter, regardless of whether or not you like the political system, you have to be involved. If you are not at the table, you're probably on the menu. We're there to make sure that our members are not on the menu.
We have a voice, we're being heard, and we have the opportunity to shape regulatory legislation as well that will benefit our members and ensure that we have a livelihood for years to come.
It's very likely that ARA has already helped your business and saved and made you money and will continue to do so. ARA's advocacy is the most important thing that it does, and that by itself makes it a worthwhile organization. You need to support ARA's advocacy work, if for no other reason, just to keep your business going.
Consider joining the ARA today to help ensure a bright future for the automotive recycling industry. To find more information or to see how you can make your voice heard, visit a-r-a.org.
For 81 years, ARA has been working for the auto recycling industry. So regardless of whether you're a member or not, we're already working for you. Come be a part of it.